Sarah Martinez had always been different from other girls her age. While her classmates painted their nails and talked about boys, she spent her weekends at the local shooting range with her grandfather, a Vietnam veteran who taught her that precision mattered more than power. Her steady hands and sharp eyes caught the attention of military recruiters during her senior year of high school. At 18, Sarah enlisted in the Army with dreams of serving her country. She excelled in basic training, outperforming many of her male counterparts in marksmanship and tactical exercises. Her drill sergeants noticed her natural talent with firearms, particularly her ability to remain calm under pressure and hit targets at distances that challenged even experienced soldiers. After completing her initial military training, Sarah applied for specialized programs. She had heard whispers about Sniper School, an elite training program that produced some of the military's most skilled marksmen. The program was notorious for its difficulty, with a failure rate exceeding 70%. Most applicants were seasoned soldiers with years of combat experience, but Sarah's exceptional shooting scores earned her a spot in the selection process. The announcement of her acceptance came with mixed reactions from her unit. Some fellow soldiers congratulated her, recognizing her talent and dedication. Others questioned whether a young woman belonged in such an intense program. Sarah ignored the doubts and focused on preparing herself mentally and physically for the challenge ahead. When Sarah arrived at the Sniper School facility, she immediately felt the weight of being an outsider. Among the 30 candidates, she was not only the youngest but also one of only 2 women. The other female candidate, Rebecca, was a seasoned sergeant with multiple deployments under her belt. The male candidates ranged from fresh-faced corporals to battle-hardened staff sergeants, all eager to prove themselves worthy of the sniper designation. The first week consisted of psychological evaluations and basic assessments. Instructors observed how candidates handled stress, worked in teams, and maintained focus during long periods of observation. Sarah excelled in these areas, drawing on lessons learned from her grandfather about patience and mental discipline. Her ability to remain motionless for hours while tracking targets impressed even the most skeptical instructors. Physical training pushed every candidate to their limits. Long marches with heavy equipment, obstacle courses, and endurance tests separated the determined from the merely interested. Sarah struggled initially with some of the heavier equipment, but her determination and smart training approach helped her keep pace with stronger candidates. She learned to use leverage and technique to compensate for any physical disadvantages. The academic portion of training covered ballistics, weather effects on bullet trajectory, range estimation, and target identification. Sarah absorbed this information like a sponge, often staying up late to study charts and formulas that would help her make precise shots in various conditions. Her notebook filled with calculations and diagrams as she worked to master the science behind long-range shooting. During the second week, candidates began practical shooting exercises. Starting with stationary targets at moderate distances, they gradually progressed to more challenging scenarios. Sarah's natural marksmanship ability shone during these exercises. Her shots consistently grouped tightly around target centers, earning nods of approval from instructors who had initially been skeptical about her presence in the program. As training progressed, the psychological pressure intensified. Instructors used various tactics to test candidates' mental resilience, including sudden loud noises during shooting exercises, sleep deprivation, and verbal harassment designed to break concentration. Some candidates cracked under this pressure, requesting transfers to other programs or simply washing out due to poor performance. Sarah found herself becoming a target for additional scrutiny. Instructors seemed to watch her more closely than other candidates, questioning her decisions more frequently and demanding higher standards for her performance. She sensed that some instructors were looking for reasons to dismiss her from the program, viewing her as a potential liability or publicity stunt, rather than a serious candidate. The weapon issued to each candidate was a precision rifle that would become their constant companion throughout training. Sarah carefully maintained her rifle, learning every component and adjustment mechanism. She practiced assembling and disassembling it blindfolded, ensuring she could service the weapon under any conditions. The rifle became an extension of herself, a tool she trusted completely. Field exercises introduced elements of camouflage, stalking, and covert observation. Candidates learned to move undetected across various terrains, often spending entire days in concealed positions, while observing and reporting on simulated enemy activities. Sarah's smaller stature actually proved advantageous during these exercises, allowing her to hide in locations that larger candidates couldn't access. The bond between candidates grew stronger as they faced increasing challenges together. Sarah found allies among her classmates, particularly Marcus, a corporal from Texas who appreciated her work ethic and shooting skills. Their friendship helped her navigate the social dynamics of the program while maintaining focus on her training objectives. Rebecca, the other female candidate, struggled more with the shooting requirements despite her combat experience. She had been an excellent soldier in conventional roles, but the precision demands of sniper training exposed gaps in her marksmanship fundamentals. Sarah tried to help her during off-duty hours, sharing techniques she had learned from her grandfather and her own experimentation with different shooting positions. By the end of the third week, several candidates had already departed the program. The attrition rate remained high as instructors continued weeding out those who couldn't meet the demanding standards. Sarah remained among the top performers, consistently ranking in the upper tier for both shooting accuracy and fieldcraft skills. Her confidence grew with each successful exercise. However, she began noticing subtle changes in how instructors treated her. Comments about her performance became more critical, even when her scores remained excellent. She overheard conversations questioning whether the program should accept female candidates at all, with some instructors expressing concerns about unit cohesion and physical capabilities in combat situations. The pressure extended beyond official training hours. Sarah found herself excluded from informal gatherings where candidates shared experiences and built camaraderie. Some male candidates treated her professionally during training, but maintained distance during personal time, creating a sense of isolation that tested her mental resilience. Despite these challenges, Sarah remained determined to complete the program and earn her sniper qualification. She channeled her grandfather's teachings about perseverance and mental toughness, using criticism as motivation to exceed expectations. Her shooting scores continued improving, and her fieldcraft skills developed rapidly as she adapted to various environments and scenarios presented during training exercises. The fourth week brought advanced shooting scenarios that tested every aspect of the candidate's training. Moving targets, unknown distances, and adverse weather conditions challenged even the most skilled marksman. Sarah approached each exercise with methodical precision, applying the mathematical formulas she had memorized and the instinctive skills her grandfather had taught her years earlier. During one particularly challenging exercise, candidates were required to engage multiple targets at varying distances within a strict time limit. The scenario simulated a real combat situation where quick, accurate shots could mean the difference between mission success and catastrophic failure. Sarah's performance was flawless, hitting every target with deadly precision while several other candidates struggled to complete the course within the allotted time. Instructor Staff Sergeant Williams observed Sarah's performance with barely concealed irritation. He had made his opposition to female candidates clear through subtle comments and increasingly harsh critiques of her work. Despite her excellent scores, he found ways to question her techniques and suggest improvements that seemed designed more to undermine her confidence than enhance her abilities. The psychological warfare intensified as training progressed into more realistic scenarios. Candidates faced simulated combat stress through the use of explosions, smoke, and chaotic environments designed to test their ability to maintain composure while making precise shots. Sarah's steady nerve served her well during these exercises, but she noticed that her successes seemed to generate more scrutiny rather than praise from certain instructors. Rebecca finally succumbed to the pressure during a night shooting exercise. Her shots consistently missed targets that she had been hitting reliably during daylight conditions. The combination of technical challenges and social pressure proved overwhelming, and she requested withdrawal from the program the following morning. Sarah felt a mixture of sadness and increased isolation as her only female ally departed. The remaining candidates, now numbering fewer than 15 from the original 30, formed tighter bonds as they faced the program's most challenging phase. Marcus continued supporting Sarah, often partnering with her during team exercises and defending her abilities when other candidates made dismissive comments. His friendship provided crucial emotional support during increasingly difficult times. Advanced field exercises required candidates to spend days in forward observation positions, maintaining surveillance on simulated enemy positions while remaining undetected. Sarah excelled at these extended operations, demonstrating patience and attention to detail that impressed even skeptical instructors. Her small stature and natural camouflage abilities allowed her to establish positions that provided excellent observation angles while remaining nearly invisible to opposing forces. During one week-long field exercise, Sarah's position was discovered by the opposing team on the final day. However, her meticulous preparation and backup positions allowed her to relocate quickly and continue the mission without compromise. The exercise controllers noted her adaptability and tactical thinking in their evaluation reports, praising her ability to overcome adversity through planning and quick decision-making. The academic requirements became more complex as training progressed. Candidates studied advanced ballistics, atmospheric conditions, and target analysis techniques used in real combat operations. Sarah's mathematical aptitude helped her master these concepts quickly, often assisting other candidates who struggled with the technical aspects of long-range shooting calculations. Weapons maintenance became increasingly important as the rifles endured extensive use during field exercises. Sarah's attention to detail in caring for her weapon earned recognition from the armorer, who noted that her rifle remained in excellent condition despite heavy use. She developed a ritual of thorough cleaning and inspection after every training session, treating her weapon with the respect her grandfather had taught her to show all firearms. The social dynamics within the candidate group evolved as numbers dwindled. Some candidates formed close partnerships, working together to overcome individual weaknesses through mutual support. Others became increasingly competitive, viewing their classmates as obstacles to overcome rather than teammates to support. Sarah found herself caught between these dynamics, appreciated for her skills but sometimes resented for her success. Instructor evaluations provided feedback that Sarah found frustrating and contradictory. While her shooting scores remained among the highest in the class, instructors cited concerns about her physical capabilities in certain scenarios. These evaluations seemed to focus on hypothetical weaknesses rather than demonstrated performance, suggesting a bias that Sarah struggled to address through improved performance alone. The mental pressure of constant scrutiny began affecting Sarah's confidence during the 5th week. For the first time since arriving at sniper school, she experienced self-doubt about her abilities and place in the program. The isolation from being the only remaining female candidate, combined with increasingly critical instructor feedback, created stress that she had never experienced during her military career. Marcus noticed Sarah's changing demeanor and confronted her about it during a break between training sessions. He reminded her of her consistent excellence throughout the program and encouraged her to maintain focus on her performance rather than external pressures. His support helped Sarah regain her mental equilibrium and refocus on the training objectives that had brought her to sniper school. A pivotal moment came during a complex shooting scenario that combined multiple challenging elements. Candidates were required to engage targets at extreme ranges while accounting for wind conditions, moving platforms, and time pressure. The exercise was designed to eliminate candidates who couldn't perform under maximum stress while demonstrating the full range of skills taught throughout the program. Sarah approached the firing line with her usual methodical preparation, checking equipment and calculating environmental factors that would affect her shots. The targets appeared at distances ranging from 600 to over 1,000 meters, requiring different techniques and ammunition adjustments for each engagement. The wind conditions were particularly challenging, with variable speeds and directions across the range. Her first shot connected perfectly with a target at 800 meters, despite gusty crosswinds that had caused several previous candidates to miss entirely. The second target appeared at maximum range, requiring Sarah to use advanced ballistic calculations and precise trigger control to compensate for bullet drop and wind drift. Her shot struck the target center, earning surprised murmurs from observing instructors. The final portion of the exercise required engaging multiple targets in sequence while changing positions between shots. This tested not only shooting accuracy, but also physical conditioning and tactical movement skills. Sarah moved smoothly between firing positions, quickly re-establishing her sight picture and engaging each target with deadly precision. When the exercise concluded, Sarah had achieved a perfect score, hitting every target within the required time limits. Her performance stood out even among the remaining elite candidates, demonstrating mastery of all skills taught throughout the rigorous program. However, the instructors' reactions seemed muted compared to the enthusiasm shown for other candidates' lesser achievements. Staff Sergeant Williams approached Sarah after the exercise with what appeared to be grudging acknowledgement of her performance. However, his comments focused on technical aspects of her shooting positions, rather than celebrating her achievement. The interaction left Sarah feeling that no level of performance would satisfy certain instructors' preconceptions about her suitability for the program. The 6th week marked the beginning of the final evaluation period, where remaining candidates would face the ultimate tests that determined who earned the coveted sniper qualification. Only 12 candidates remained from the original 30, and the pressure reached its peak as everyone understood that not all would graduate from the program. Sarah maintained her position among the top performers, but she sensed a growing conspiracy of doubt among certain instructors. Conversation stopped when she approached, and she overheard fragments of discussions about program standards and the appropriateness of female candidates in combat roles. The political implications of graduating the first female sniper seemed to weigh heavily on the minds of program leadership. The final field exercise was announced as a comprehensive test lasting 5 days and 4 nights. Candidates would operate independently in a large training area, conducting surveillance missions, making precision shots at various targets, and demonstrating all skills learned throughout the program. Success required not only technical proficiency but also physical endurance and mental resilience under extreme conditions. Each candidate received a detailed mission briefing outlining specific objectives and evaluation criteria. Sarah studied her assignment carefully, noting the challenging terrain and weather conditions predicted for the exercise period. She prepared her equipment meticulously, ensuring every item served a specific purpose while remaining within weight limitations for extended field operations. The exercise began before dawn on a Monday morning, with candidates departing at intervals to prevent mutual interference during their missions. Sarah's assignment took her into heavily forested terrain, where she would establish observation posts overlooking simulated enemy positions. Her targets included both stationary objectives and personnel who would appear at unpredictable times during the exercise period. Navigation through dense forest tested skills that had been developing throughout the training program. Sarah used compass and map reading techniques to reach her assigned positions while avoiding detection by roving instructor teams acting as opposing forces. Her movement was deliberate and quiet, drawing on lessons learned about forest craft and camouflage techniques. The first target engagement came on the 2nd day, when a figure appeared at a designated position nearly 900 meters from Sarah's concealed location. Wind conditions were challenging, with shifting breezes that required careful observation and calculation before taking the shot. Sarah spent 20 minutes studying the environmental factors and preparing her rifle for the engagement. Her shot struck the target precisely, earning a radio confirmation from exercise controllers who had been observing through spotting equipment. The successful engagement validated weeks of training in ballistics calculation and environmental compensation techniques. However, Sarah knew that one successful shot wouldn't determine her final evaluation, and several more challenging targets awaited her attention. Physical discomfort became a constant companion as the exercise progressed. Extended periods in prone shooting positions caused muscle cramps and joint stiffness that Sarah had to overcome while maintaining shooting accuracy. Limited food and water supplies required careful rationing to maintain energy levels throughout the 5-day period. Sleep came in brief intervals between observation duties and target engagements. The most challenging target appeared on the 4th day, when Sarah was required to engage a moving figure at extreme range during adverse weather conditions. Rain had been falling steadily for several hours, creating visibility problems and affecting ballistic calculations due to increased air density and bullet path deflection. The target would be visible for only a brief window, requiring quick but precise shot placement. Sarah positioned herself carefully, using available cover to stabilize her rifle while maintaining the necessary shooting angle. She calculated the required lead for the moving target while accounting for weather effects on bullet trajectory. The moment of engagement arrived suddenly, and Sarah fired with confidence based on her preparations and training. The target fell immediately upon impact, confirming another successful engagement under extremely challenging conditions. Exercise controllers noted the difficulty of the shot and the professional manner in which Sarah had executed the engagement. Her performance continued demonstrating mastery of advanced sniper techniques despite the accumulated stress and fatigue of the extended exercise. Communication with instructors during the exercise remained minimal, limited to necessary coordination and safety protocols. However, Sarah sensed that her performance was being evaluated more critically than that of other candidates. Radio transmission seemed more formal when directed toward her, and requests for clarification of her actions suggested unusual scrutiny of her decision-making process. The final target engagement required Sarah to relocate her position significantly while maintaining observation of a critical area. This tested her tactical movement skills and ability to establish effective shooting positions quickly under time pressure. The terrain was particularly challenging, requiring movement through open areas where detection by opposing forces was a constant threat. Sarah successfully completed the relocation and established a new firing position with clear observation of the target area. Her patience was tested as she waited for the designated target to appear, maintaining alertness despite fatigue and discomfort from extended field operations. When the target finally appeared, Sarah engaged successfully, completing all assigned objectives within the specified time frame. The exercise concluded on Friday afternoon, with candidates returning to the main facility for debriefing and final evaluations. Sarah felt confident about her performance, having completed all required tasks successfully while demonstrating proficiency in every skill area covered by the training program. Her shooting accuracy had remained consistently high throughout the challenging conditions, and her tactical decisions had proven sound. However, the atmosphere during debriefing seemed different from previous training sessions. Instructors appeared more serious than usual, and conversations among staff members suggested that important decisions were being made behind closed doors. Sarah noticed meaningful glances exchanged between certain instructors when her performance was discussed during group debriefings. Marcus approached Sarah after the debriefing session, expressing concern about rumors he had heard regarding final program decisions. Some candidates had been discussing possible political pressure on program leadership to prevent female candidates from graduating, regardless of their performance levels. The implications of these rumors troubled Sarah, who had focused entirely on meeting program standards rather than political considerations. The weekend before final graduation decisions provided an opportunity for reflection on the intense training experience. Sarah reviewed her performance objectively, acknowledging areas for improvement while recognizing her consistent excellence in most skill areas. She had outperformed many candidates who were considered likely graduates at the beginning of the program. Equipment maintenance occupied much of the weekend, as candidates prepared their rifles and gear for final inspection. Sarah's weapon showed the effects of intensive use during training, but her careful maintenance had kept it in excellent operating condition. She noticed small marks on the stock where her rifle had contacted rocks and trees during field exercises, battle scars that told the story of her training experience. The rifle had become more than just a tool during the training program. It represented Sarah's dedication, skill development, and perseverance through challenges that had eliminated many other candidates. She felt a strong connection to the weapon that had served her faithfully throughout every training exercise and evaluation scenario. Sunday evening brought an unexpected summons to the program commander's office. Sarah reported as directed, uncertain about the purpose of the meeting but prepared to discuss her performance and future plans. The commander's expression was serious as she entered his office, suggesting that important news awaited her attention. Colonel Harrison sat behind his desk, reviewing a folder that Sarah recognized as her training file. The office was decorated with military awards and photos from various deployments, creating an atmosphere of authority and experience. Sarah stood at attention, waiting for the colonel to acknowledge her presence and explain the reason for this unexpected meeting. "Private Martinez," the colonel began, his voice carrying a tone that immediately put Sarah on alert. "I've been reviewing your performance throughout this program, and we need to discuss some concerns that have been raised by the instructional staff." Sarah felt her stomach tighten, knowing that this conversation would determine her future in the sniper program. She had expected recognition of her achievements, not a discussion of concerns. Her performance had been consistently excellent, ranking among the top candidates in every measurable category throughout the training period. The colonel continued, Your shooting scores are undeniably impressive, and your technical knowledge exceeds expectations for someone with your experience level. However, several instructors have raised questions about your suitability for the operational requirements that come with sniper qualification. Sarah listened carefully, trying to understand what specific issues could justify removing her from the program after weeks of successful training. She had met every standard, exceeded most expectations, and demonstrated the same capabilities as her male counterparts throughout the rigorous selection and training process. The concerns center around physical capabilities and unit integration issues. Colonel Harrison explained. Some instructors believe that the physical demands of extended field operations may prove challenging for female personnel, regardless of performance during training scenarios. The explanation felt hollow to Sarah, who had successfully completed every physical challenge presented during the program. She had carried the same equipment loads, endured the same environmental conditions, and maintained the same operational tempo as every other candidate. Her performance during the final field exercise had demonstrated her ability to operate effectively under the most demanding conditions. Sir, with respect, Sarah began, my performance record demonstrates that I can meet all physical requirements of the sniper role. I've completed every training, exercised successfully, and maintained performance standards throughout the program. Colonel Harrison acknowledged her point but continued with what sounded like a prepared statement. The decision has been made that you'll be reassigned to another specialized program where your marksmanship skills can be utilized effectively. This reassignment reflects no negative judgment of your abilities or dedication. Sarah felt the crushing weight of disappointment and frustration. After weeks of exceeding expectations and proving herself against the most demanding standards, she was being dismissed for reasons that seemed to have nothing to do with her actual capabilities. The injustice of the situation was overwhelming, but military discipline required her to accept the decision without argument. You have 48 hours to process out of the program and report to your new assignment, the colonel concluded. Your personal effects will be processed through normal channels, and your training records will reflect successful completion of advanced marksmanship training. The meeting ended abruptly, leaving Sarah to process the devastating news alone. She walked back to her quarters in a state of shock, struggling to understand how her performance could be deemed excellent, while simultaneously being insufficient for program completion. The contradiction made no sense from a purely merit-based perspective. Marcus was waiting when Sarah returned to the candidate area, immediately recognizing from her expression that the news was not positive. His concern deepened when Sarah explained the reassignment decision and the vague reasoning provided by program leadership. The unfairness of the situation angered him, but both soldiers understood that military decisions were not subject to appeal or negotiation. News of Sarah's dismissal spread quickly among the remaining candidates, creating a somber atmosphere during what should have been a celebration period before graduation. Several candidates privately expressed their disagreement with the decision, recognizing that Sarah's performance had been superior to that of some candidates who would be graduating from the program. The packing process was emotionally difficult for Sarah, as she prepared to leave behind the dream that had motivated her throughout months of preparation and training. Her rifle, which had become such an important part of her identity during the program, would be returned to the armory rather than accompanying her to whatever assignment awaited. Before returning her weapon to the armory, Sarah spent time alone with the rifle that had served her so faithfully throughout the training program. She examined every component one final time, noting the wear patterns that told the story of countless training exercises and target engagements. The rifle had never failed her, providing the accuracy and reliability that had made her one of the top performers in the program. The armorer, Sergeant First Class Rodriguez, had developed respect for Sarah's dedication to weapon maintenance throughout the training program. When she arrived to turn in her rifle, he could see the emotional difficulty she was experiencing. His examination of the weapon confirmed what he had observed throughout the program. Sarah's care and attention to detail had kept the rifle in exceptional condition despite intensive use. "This is a fine weapon," Rodriguez commented as he inspected the rifle. "It's been well cared for, and I can tell it's been used by someone who understands precision shooting. The barrel shows wear patterns consistent with excellent marksmanship, very consistent shot placement." Sarah thanked him for his kind words, appreciating his professional recognition of her abilities, even as she faced dismissal from the program. The armorer's comment about shot placement reminded her of the countless hours spent perfecting her technique and the satisfaction of consistently accurate shooting throughout the training. Period. As Rodriguez continued his inspection, he noticed something unusual about the rifle stock. Small marks were carved into the wood, marks that Sarah had not mentioned during previous maintenance inspections. Upon closer examination, he realized these were not random scratches but deliberate markings that appeared to represent something significant. "Private Martinez," Rodriguez called. "Can you explain these markings on your rifle stock?" Sarah looked at the marks Rodriguez was indicating, seeing them clearly for the first time despite having handled the rifle daily throughout training. The markings were small but deliberate, carved with precision into the wood of the stock. They appeared to be tally marks of some kind, though Sarah had no memory of creating them herself. The discovery puzzled both Sarah and the armorer, who had extensive experience with military weapons and the various ways soldiers personalize their equipment. These marks were different, more precise and systematic than typical field modifications. They suggested a level of significance that went beyond casual personalization. Rodriguez counted the marks carefully, noting their consistent size and spacing. There were exactly 12 marks carved into the stock, arranged in groups that suggested they represented specific events or achievements. The precision of the carving indicated they had been made deliberately over time rather than during a single session. "I didn't carve those marks," Sarah stated honestly, equally puzzled by their presence. "I've never seen them before, and I certainly didn't put them there during training." The mystery of the carved marks created an uncomfortable moment for both Sarah and the armorer. Military regulations prohibited unauthorized modifications to weapons, and unexplained markings could suggest various scenarios that might require investigation. However, Rodriguez had observed Sarah's proper weapon handling throughout the program and found it difficult to believe she would violate regulations. After documenting the markings and Sarah's statement about their origin, Rodriguez completed the weapon turn-in process. The rifle would be inspected further by armory personnel to determine how the marks had been created and what they might represent. Sarah's reassignment would proceed as planned, while this minor mystery was investigated separately. The final evening at sniper school was bittersweet for Sarah, who attended the informal gathering of remaining candidates despite her dismissal from the program. Her classmates showed support and expressed frustration about the decision that was removing one of their most capable members from the program for seemingly political rather than performance-based reasons. Sarah's reassignment took her to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where she was assigned to a reconnaissance unit that utilized her marksmanship skills in a different capacity. The transition was difficult emotionally, but she approached her new duties with the same professionalism that had characterized her performance at sniper school. Her reputation had preceded her, and unit members were curious about the soldier whose dismissal from sniper school had generated unusual attention. Meanwhile, back at the sniper school armory, Sergeant First Class Rodriguez continued investigating the mysterious markings on Sarah's former rifle. His initial examination had raised more questions than answers, leading him to consult with more experienced armorers and even retired snipers who might recognize the significance of the carved marks. The precision and placement of the markings suggested they were more than random scratches. Master Sergeant Williams, a Vietnam veteran with extensive sniper experience, examined the rifle at Rodriguez's request. His reaction to the markings was immediate and profound. Williams recognized the pattern and style of the carvings, which reminded him of practices he had observed decades earlier during his own combat deployments. "These are kill marks," Williams stated with certainty, pointing to the 12 precise carvings in the rifle stock. "Someone carved these to record confirmed kills during combat operations. The style and placement are consistent with markings I've seen on weapons used by snipers in Vietnam and other conflicts." Rodriguez was stunned by this revelation, immediately understanding the implications of Williams's assessment. If the markings represented confirmed kills, their presence on a training rifle suggested either a serious breach of protocol or a significant mystery about the weapon's history before Sarah's assignment to the sniper program. "But this rifle has been in the training inventory for years," Rodriguez protested. "It's never been deployed for combat operations. How could it have kill marks from actual engagements?" Williams examined the markings more closely. noting details that supported his assessment while acknowledging the puzzling circumstances of their discovery. The age and weathering of the carvings suggested they had been made over an extended period, consistent with a combat deployment rather than recent training activities. The investigation expanded to include the rifle's complete service history, tracing its assignment records and maintenance logs from initial procurement through its current use in the training program. The weapon's paper trail revealed an interesting history that had been overlooked during routine inventory management. Records showed that the rifle had originally been assigned to special operations units before being transferred to the training command. During its operational service, the weapon had been deployed multiple times to various combat theaters, where snipers had achieved significant success against enemy forces. The transfer to training use had occurred several years earlier, as part of a routine equipment rotation. Further investigation revealed that the rifle had been used by Staff Sergeant Michael Thompson, a highly decorated sniper who had served multiple combat deployments before his death in action 3 years earlier. Thompson's service record showed 12 confirmed kills during his career, exactly matching the number of marks carved into the rifle stock. The discovery that Sarah had been unknowingly using a legendary sniper's rifle created a sensation among program instructors and staff. Thompson had been considered one of the most skilled snipers of his generation, earning numerous commendations for his precision shooting and tactical expertise during extremely challenging missions. Rodriguez contacted Sarah at her new assignment to inform her of the discovery about her training rifle's history. The conversation was emotional for both soldiers, as they realized the significance of Sarah's connection to such a distinguished weapon and the irony of her dismissal from a program while using a rifle that represented the highest levels of sniper achievement. Private Martinez, Rodriguez explained during their phone conversation, "You were training with Staff Sergeant Thompson's rifle. Those marks represent 12 confirmed kills he made during combat operations. You were essentially carrying on his legacy, even though you didn't know it at the time." Sarah was deeply moved by this revelation, understanding now why the rifle had felt so right in her hands throughout training. Her natural connection to the weapon made sense in light of its history, with one of the military's most accomplished snipers. The knowledge provided some comfort regarding her dismissal, knowing that her skills had been validated by her success with such a significant weapon. News of the discovery spread throughout the sniper community, generating discussions about the appropriateness of Sarah's dismissal and the symbolic significance of her performance with Thompson's rifle. Many experienced snipers viewed her success with the weapon as validation of her abilities and questioned the decision to remove her from the program. Colonel Harrison learned of the discovery through his staff, immediately recognizing the potential implications for the program and his decision regarding Sarah's reassignment. The symbolic power of a female candidate excelling while using a legendary sniper's rifle created pressure to reconsider the circumstances of her dismissal. The story reached higher levels of military command, where officials began questioning whether the sniper program standards were being applied fairly regardless of gender. Sarah's documented excellence while using Thompson's rifle provided compelling evidence that her abilities were genuine and significant within the sniper community. At Fort Campbell, Sarah continued excelling in her new assignment, while processing the emotional impact of learning about her rifle's history. Her unit commander had been briefed on her background and the circumstances surrounding her reassignment, leading to conversations about potentially pursuing sniper training through alternative pathways. Major Patricia Chen, Sarah's new commanding officer, had served as a military police officer before transitioning to reconnaissance operations. She understood the challenges faced by women in specialized military roles and was determined to ensure that Sarah's talents were properly utilized and developed within their unit. Private Martinez, Major Chen explained during a private meeting, "I'm aware of what happened at sniper school, and I believe you were treated unfairly. While I can't change that decision, I can ensure that your skills continue developing here. We have opportunities for advanced marksmanship, training and specialized missions that could benefit from your abilities." Sarah appreciated her new commander's support and commitment to helping her grow professionally despite the setback at sniper school. The recognition of her abilities provided motivation to continue pursuing excellence while adapting to her new role and responsibilities. Within the reconnaissance unit, the unit's missions included surveillance, operations and precision shooting requirements that allowed Sarah to utilize many of the skills she had developed during sniper training. Her reputation for accuracy and professionalism quickly established her as a valuable team member whose capabilities were respected by her new colleagues. During her first field exercise with the reconnaissance unit, Sarah's shooting skills impressed everyone present. Her ability to engage targets at extended ranges with consistent accuracy demonstrated that her abilities had not diminished despite the disappointment of her sniper school experience. If anything, the adversity seemed to have strengthened her determination to prove herself. The exercise involved a complex scenario requiring multiple precision shots under challenging conditions. Sarah's performance was flawless, hitting every assigned target while providing accurate intelligence reports about simulated enemy positions. Her professional competence earned immediate respect from unit members who had been curious about her background and capabilities. Word of Sarah's continued excellence reached back to the sniper school community, where discussions about her case had become a topic of significant interest. Many instructors privately acknowledged that her dismissal had been a mistake based on political considerations rather than performance standards, creating pressure for policy changes regarding female candidates in future programs. 6 months after her reassignment, Sarah had established herself as an indispensable member of her reconnaissance unit. Her precision shooting skills had proven crucial during several training exercises and real-world missions that required accurate long-range engagement capabilities. Major Chen had submitted multiple commendations, recognizing Sarah's exceptional performance and recommending her for advanced training opportunities. The story of Thompson's rifle and Sarah's connection to it had continued spreading throughout military circles, eventually reaching the attention of General Patricia Hayes, the first female general officer to oversee special operations training programs. General Hayes had built her career by breaking barriers and ensuring that military standards were applied fairly regardless of gender, making Sarah's case particularly significant to her. General Hayes initiated a formal review of the sniper school's selection and retention policies, focusing specifically on the circumstances surrounding Sarah's dismissal. The review examined performance records, instructor evaluations, and the decision-making process that had led to reassigning one of the program's top performers, based on concerns that seemed unsupported by actual evidence. The investigation revealed troubling patterns in how female candidates were evaluated compared to their male counterparts. While official standards appeared gender-neutral, the application of those standards showed subtle but consistent bias that made it significantly more difficult for women to complete the program successfully. Sarah's case became the catalyst for broader reforms within the special operations training community. Meanwhile, at the sniper school armory, Thompson's rifle had become something of a legend among instructors and students. Sergeant First Class Rodriguez had researched the weapon's complete history, discovering that Thompson had specifically requested that his rifle be used for training future snipers after his death. His will included provisions expressing hope that his weapon would help develop the next generation of military marksmen. The discovery of Thompson's wishes regarding his rifle's future use added another layer of significance to Sarah's story. Thompson had apparently envisioned his weapon contributing to training programs, and Sarah's success while using it seemed to fulfill his intentions in an unexpected but meaningful way. The rifle had literally helped train someone who demonstrated the same level of skill and dedication that Thompson had shown during his career. Rodriguez shared Thompson's story with each new class of sniper candidates, using the rifle as a teaching tool about legacy, precision, and the responsibility that came with sniper qualification. The weapon had been moved to a place of honor in the school's museum, where students could examine it and learn about both Thompson's achievements and the ongoing controversy surrounding Sarah's dismissal. During this period, Sarah received an unexpected phone call from Marcus, her former classmate who had successfully completed the sniper program. He had been following developments regarding her case and wanted to share news about changes occurring within the sniper community as a result of the attention her story had generated. Sarah, Marcus explained, your situation has become a rallying point for reforming the program. Several senior instructors have acknowledged privately that your dismissal was wrong, and there's pressure building to invite you back for program completion. The possibility of returning to complete sniper training was both exciting and emotionally complex for Sarah. She had built a new life and career path within her reconnaissance unit, where her abilities were valued and her contributions recognized. Returning to sniper school would mean leaving behind relationships and responsibilities that had become important to her personal and professional development. Major Chen supported whatever decision Sarah made regarding the potential opportunity to return to sniper training. She recognized that Sarah's ultimate goal had always been to serve as a qualified sniper, and she wouldn't stand in the way of her achieving that dream. However, she also made it clear that Sarah would always have a place within their unit if she chose to continue her current path. General Hayes personally contacted Sarah to discuss the formal review findings and the recommendation that she be invited to complete sniper training under new protocols designed to ensure fair evaluation of all candidates. The general's call represented official acknowledgement that Sarah had been treated inappropriately and deserved the opportunity to achieve the qualification. Her performance had clearly earned Private Martinez. General Hayes stated during their conversation, "The review has concluded that your dismissal was not based on legitimate performance concerns. You demonstrated all the capabilities required for sniper qualification, and you deserve the opportunity to complete the program under fair and appropriate evaluation standards." Sarah was deeply moved by the general's words and the official recognition that her abilities had never been in question. The validation provided closure regarding the doubts and self-questioning that had persisted since her dismissal from the program. However, she requested time to consider the offer and discuss it with her current command and family members. The decision required weighing several factors beyond just the opportunity to achieve sniper qualification. Sarah had grown personally and professionally during her time with the reconnaissance unit, developing leadership skills and tactical knowledge that complemented her marksmanship abilities. She had also formed strong relationships with unit members who depended on her capabilities and expertise. After careful consideration and discussions with mentors, family, and colleagues, Sarah decided to accept the invitation to return and complete sniper training. The decision was motivated not just by personal goals, but also by recognition that her success could help other women pursuing similar opportunities in the future. Her completion of the program would establish precedent and demonstrate that gender should not be a barrier to military specialization. The announcement of Sarah's return to sniper school generated significant attention within military and civilian communities. Her story had become symbolic of broader issues regarding gender equality in military service, and her success or failure would likely influence policies affecting future generations of female soldiers seeking specialized training. Sarah's second arrival at sniper school was dramatically different from her first experience. The program had implemented new evaluation protocols designed to ensure objective assessment of all candidates, and several instructors who had opposed female participation had been reassigned to other duties. The atmosphere was more professional and focused on performance-based outcomes rather than subjective judgments. Thompson's rifle was waiting for Sarah when she arrived, having been specially prepared for her use during the completion program. The weapon had been maintained in perfect condition and equipped with updated optics that reflected technological advances since Thompson's service. Holding the rifle again felt like reuniting with an old friend who had shared her journey toward professional excellence. The abbreviated program focused on areas where Sarah needed to demonstrate continued proficiency and complete requirements that had been interrupted by her earlier dismissal. Her shooting skills had actually improved during her time with the reconnaissance unit, and her tactical knowledge had expanded through diverse mission experiences that enhanced her understanding of sniper operations. During her final qualifying exercise, Sarah achieved perfect scores while using Thompson's rifle to engage targets at maximum range under challenging conditions. Her performance was witnessed by General Hayes program officials and media representatives who documented this historic moment in military training history. The 12 kill marks carved into her rifle stock seemed to inspire precision that honored Thompson's legacy while establishing Sarah's own place in sniper history. The graduation ceremony included recognition of Sarah's perseverance and the broader implications of her achievement for military equality initiatives. General Hayes presented Sarah with her sniper qualification badge while noting that her success opened doors for other women who possessed the necessary skills and dedication to serve in this specialized role. Sarah's story became part of military training curricula, taught as an example of how performance-based standards should be applied consistently, regardless of personal characteristics unrelated to job requirements. Thompson's rifle remained in the Sniper School Museum, where its kill mark served as a reminder that excellence transcends individual identity and continues inspiring future generations of military professionals.